and welcome back to the Atelier Nikuzuki stream. Tonight we are going to be working on tote bags. I'm just going to post the link here to that place. If you're asking where that place might be, it's my, there we go, to Instagram. Share, copy link. Not a real, oh my goodness, Instagram. I just want to post a photo. Thank you. Ready to go. Okay, done. I probably won't be on very long tonight, simply because kiddos have actually been waking up really early. Ooh, hello. All right. Normally when I have my microphone plugged into the headphone jack, it doesn't start playing through the speakers, but apparently that's not the case tonight. Anyway, so I got me and the kiddos downstairs earlier, and I did actually get all of the tote bag interfacings on, obviously. And now we're going in and sewing the Japanese fabric here onto the actual canvas. It's actually it was quite nice because I was like, I lucked out with an audiobook loan last night of like a skip the line, they call it. And so it's a book that normally I would have had to wait like months for, and instead got right away. So I was like, ooh, so I've been able to listen to well over half of that over the last couple days, which is kind of nice. Kids and I went for like an hour and a half long walk today. So, well, okay. They rode in the stroller. Well, I did an hour and a half walk today, which was good. I'll take it. It was really nice out today, and we went down to like the river and threw rocks in the river, which we haven't done for a while. So it was good. A pretty chill day up until it was like bedtime, and then it's just like all hell broke loose in some ways. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Although my youngest was like, I'm gonna come cuddle you in the chair, which is fine. Like, I still rock them to sleep and everything like that when they need it, except that they got in and then they were like rolling around on my lap, and I'm like, nope. So tried to see if they would settle. They didn't settle, and I was like, okay, you gotta get into bed. Like, maxed out on stimulation, that's for sure. But that's okay. They got into bed, and literally both of them fell asleep within like 2 to 3 minutes after that. So I was like, perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. So I got all of the interfacing adhered. Got all the webbing cut last night. Got all the interfacing adhered this morning. I did actually get the prototype passport holder sewn as well. Took it upstairs, stuffed it full of like all of our stuff, and it's working awesome so far. Actually worked out really nicely. There's going to be one small thing I'm going to tweak about it, which I'm going to tweak the, I'm going to add a lining into one of the pockets because it drives me nuts that there is no lining. But other than that, we're good to go on production, I think. It doesn't take very long to cut, doesn't take very long to sew. And yeah. Not something that I really had on the list for this year, but you know what? What have I had on the list for this year? Things just keep going like, hey, sew me. And I'm like, all right. We are not going to focus on passport holders until post Shindig, but they're on the list now. I guess I gotta update the list on the whiteboard. Oh well. What's the fun in it if you're not getting distracted consistently? Okay. Oh, I still love these black cats with the wisteria, and a lot of these wisteria have like gold highlight in them. This floral arrangement is all that like highlighted gold. Little scally black cats. Excuse me, interspersed in between everything's pretty awesome. I think the goal tonight will be getting all of these put together, i.e. sewn together. And then it'll be bedtime. And then tomorrow we will top stitch everything, which is exciting. I'm excited for that. Hopefully you're excited for that. I don't know why my machine does not like the feed dog. Oh, excuse me. The feed dogs really don't like sewing the canvas. They dislike sewing, like feeding through on the interfacing even more. But for whatever reason, it does not like sewing this canvas. It's not because of thickness or anything like that. It's just, it's like, it lags really hard. Which probably doesn't look like it does, but I can tell the difference, at least by touch. Could also be in my head. Who knows? I don't feel like it is. But that is also a possibility. Flynn is over here. He just laid down and his stomach was just like, oh. All right. No, never mind. It is definitely not in my head. I wonder if I put a different foot on, because I've got like a vinyl sewing foot. I wonder if that would help, but I feel like it's the feed dogs. Maybe I need to adjust the height of the feed dogs, but like I don't know if they can be adjusted. Obviously I want them to have like a good grip on everything, because that just lifts the foot. Yeah. Also, yes, I am sewing these together with black thread for the canvas to the exterior, simply because, well, the canvas is black. That's the main reason. And a lot of these are fairly dark bags as well, so if there's any gapping between the canvas and the Japanese fabric upper, I don't need to worry about it. Or I don't need to worry about it as much, at least. There shouldn't be. But you know what? I've got a lot of black thread. We're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Although I do need to track down a couple of spools of black thread that were left. Because right now I'm working with like a dinky little 1,000-meter spool. And I still have thread on a couple other spools that needs to be wound off for the bobbins. So I was like looking for them earlier. I'm like, where did these go? Like, I guess maybe I should have made a another offering to the brownies or whatever and ask them to bring it back. Because for whatever reason, that does seem to typically help. Excuse me, I didn't realize I was quite that tired. I'm glad that some of these older fabrics are getting used finally. It's exciting. It's going to add some variance into everything, which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm thinking for the Christmas market at Heritage Park, I'm going to focus in on stuff like the passport folders and things like that. Passport folders, mini traveler sling, the traveler sling. Like, those feel like gift items. I know they're a little bit higher end gift items, but I feel like the weekend I'm on is also a good weekend to kind of capture that, not last minute crowd, but like, it's December 7th and 8th, so it's actually the perfect weekend, I think, because people are like really kind of engaged in if they do holiday buying and stuff like that for Christmas, or like New Year's or Yule or anything of that like nature. I guess Hanukkah as well, because Eid's already passed. Anyway, winter holidays. I think it's a really good weekend for that. Anyway. Kwanzaa. There we go. That's the other one I was thinking of. I'm like, there's another one in there because there's so many like holidays right around that point. Actually, the one thing I do need to do is I need to make the library book orders for Christmas books so that we have Christmas books this year. Did pretty good, all things considered, that I didn't like do any planning last year from the library, but I could have been more on the ball. So. All right, so we've got the webbing top. Oh, right, that's the other thing we gotta do is I already talked about the webbing, but I need to go and grab the bin so that we can do the lining matching. Because we're down to like, I definitely have probably enough, I think, cut for these bags. Because all we were waiting on was canvas. But now I gotta actually pick and choose because we haven't shifted to the new roll of just like that off beige or off-white beige fabric for the interiors that I just received. So really love this parasol fabric. I'm like 95% sure that this came from the shop that in Osaka. It's no longer there, but when it was there, it was a pneumatic tube shop, and it was really cool because you go in. And I apologize if you've already heard this story from like either shows or listening to the stream, but it was called Toraya. It was in Shinsaibashi in Osaka, and a pneumatic tube shop. So you go around and you'd make all your selections, and you'd grab a salesperson and be like, okay, I want this and I want this much of it, blah, 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 blah. And they would take a clipping off of the fabric and they would staple it to a sales order for you, and then they would staple a piece of it to a sales order that they sent up the pneumatic tubes to the cutting floors. So cool. And when it was ready, it would drop down behind the cashier and you'd pay and pick up. The last time that I actually shopped there was like for a major shop. It took them 7 hours to cut the fabric. So we like, I think we actually, is Dallas and I, so I think we actually ended up doing Toraya and Nomura Taylor, which is the one in Kyoto that I go to, on the same day. Maybe. I definitely know that we went back to the hotel room and snagged our suitcases so that we could just load it up into the suitcases, which good thinking on our parts, because that would have been a absolute like beast to carry back to the hotel room. That was also at the time when they had like a Comfort Inn like 10-minute walk from Toraya as well. That one is actually gone now, which is kind of sad. It's in a good spot, but well, okay, no, it was kind of a seedy spot. There's a bunch of clubs around and stuff like that, and like, yeah, it was kind of seedy. But they had a really good breakfast, and there's lots of like the seedy activity was only ever at night. There's a bunch of families that stayed at the hotel, so it can't have been that bad. But yeah. I've been looking, they've opened some in Kyoto again, but they're really expensive. And I'm like, I am not paying like $250 per night to stay at a Comfort Inn, even if they're in Japan. If you've experienced a North America Comfort Inn or Choice or like anything kind of under that brand, the Japanese versions of them are like far superior. But they are also not worth $250 per night, even in Kyoto. I'm like, nope. And like, this is not just like, oh, that's not worth it in high season. It's like, okay, that's unfortunately for Kyoto. That, well, not unfortunately. This is why I don't travel there during like high season. And I'd recommend, if you can avoid high season in Kyoto, you avoid high season in Kyoto. Although I do eventually want to go back for New Year's again, because Dallas has never done New Year's in Japan. But yeah, this was like February in Kyoto, and I'm like, hotels should not cost $250 in Kyoto in February. Granted, it was like really close to Toji, which is the main like temple that I go to for temple market and everything like that. But still, irregardless, it was a little bit shocking. I don't know, maybe it was also like the length of time between when I was booking and when the stay was in February, because of course I priced it out based on this year's dates now. So what are we, 4 months out still? Because I've definitely at the same time seen that hotel listed for like $90 to $95 per night on the same time period, and I'm like, what is this? It's weird. I'm like, okay, that's closer to what it's probably actual value is. Okay, Fuji goes both ways, including the Fuji with sun, so it just doesn't matter. This is a non-directional print. There we go. Alright, so we're actually through these a lot faster than I anticipated. I was like, oh, we're just going to sew the canvas on and then we'll be done for the night. But at this point, we may as well go in and start the top stitching as well. I can't remember with these ones if they have to be ironed down. Sometimes it's okay to not have to iron the seam. I know, again, if you are making clothes or something like that, please, or quilting, please press all your seams. And even if you're a bag maker, don't listen to what I'm doing. I just if you've been following for a while, you know I just fly by the seat of my own pants. Anyway, I do think we'll move into top stitching. I am going to grab my seam roller, which my youngest did grab out of my bin earlier, and I think it's sitting over across the room. So let me go grab my seam roller, we'll go in and seam roll these and determine from the first couple whether we need to go in and do a an ironing session or not. We might need to. I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Okay, I lied. Well, okay, I didn't lie. I just forgot. We actually have like a few more to do because they have the gray charcoal bottoms. I could have sworn we had 4, but apparently we only have 3. I'm like, okay, I thought there was 4. Just opening these up because the interfacing is stuck together from the pressing earlier today. Okay, so 1. Okay, no, there's only 3 pieces here. I don't know why I had 4 in my head, but all right. No, there is 4 pieces here. What is going on? We definitely didn't leave one behind, and we've sewn the rest of the pile because the pile was right here, and the pile is gone. Flynn is like sleeping on ones that are already done, so I don't know whatever. Okay, so we got 3 more to add the canvas on, and then we'll go into seam rolling and seeing if we need to actually like iron or if we can just do a seam roll. I feel like just doing a seam roll is going to be sufficient for the job. Something does have to happen because from what I remember, it was because of the width of the project, it can be a little bit unruly to make sure that the seam stays the direction we want it to stay. If you saw me checking the canvas, what I was doing is one side of the canvas gets shiny. Now I've been informed that that's likely the roller side of the fabric, which makes sense. I prefer the more matte side of the canvas to be outside myself, like on the exterior. But at the same time, I really don't care as long as they both match. All I care about is that they match, because having one side be shiny and one side not be shiny on the same bag is not really a good look. Okay. Wild, it's actually liking the charcoal canvas better. I also feel like the charcoal is not as like noticeable in the way that it's processed. Oh no, it is. Okay, so this is the side up that I want. All right, how do you want our cats? Do you want it that way or do we want the calicos up? What does the other piece look like? Let's do one with calicos up and one with sexy chicken leg up. Okay, that works. Yep. Because I have a soft spot for calicos. I don't know if I ever want a calico cat. No, that's a lie. I totally want a calico cat. But I have heard that they can be pretty feisty. So feisty and opinionated, but honestly, given that Flynn doesn't regularly have the brain cell because he's an orange boy, I think we'll be okay with a feisty cat. Yeah, it's actually liking the charcoal canvas. Okay. Sorry, I thought I heard children, but it must have just been someone maybe walking outside on the sidewalk or something. Alrighty. So yeah, what is the book that I'm listening to actually called? I'm really enjoying it. I could see it not being everyone's cup of tea. It is not spicy. It is an adult book. I don't even know what genre you would put it in. It's definitely not contemporary. It's not even really historical fiction. Lessons in Chemistry, and I think it's by Bonnie Garmus. But I'm really enjoying it so far. One second, I'm going to turn on the backyard lights just because, it sounds like someone's right there, and I don't need that. One second. Okay, not that that's going to do much. Maybe a little bit of my peace of mind, but anyway, as I said, meet Elizabeth Zott, a gifted research chemist, absurdly self-assured and immune to social convention. In 1960s California, whose career takes a detour when she becomes the unlikely star of a beloved TV cooking show, which is apparently on Apple TV. Cool. I didn't know that they actually made a series out of it. This is a recommendation that I saw from someone, that Erica Helder that I follow on Instagram, the ink artist, actually. I'll read the rest of the summary. Excuse me. Once I am not trying to pay attention to not sewing over my fingers. I don't want the reviews. I want the actual summary. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality, except for one. Kelvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 8. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy, because as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh out loud funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters, Lessons in Chemistry is as original and vibrant as its protagonist. And yeah, I would agree. I'm very much enjoying it right now. So if you're looking for something a little bit different from what I normally recommend, because let's be blunt and fair, the majority of my list this year has been very spice heavy. And also just very adult. This is still very adult. It deals with very adult themes, as my normal disclaimer. It is not YA in any way, shape, or form, just because it doesn't have sex, but it's like closed door sex. There we go. It's obviously happening. Well, but it's not on the page. There we go. Explicit. There, that is the word. I'm like, what's the word? Anyway, so I am enjoying that. And then I did get a bunch of other ones recently that have been recommended by the same artist as well. And then a bunch of the ones that I had recommended from a bookseller in New Hampshire. I actually have already, I'm just waiting on the holds to come in. I'm going to be I don't know how many of you use a library, but it's like one of those situations you put a bunch of books on hold and then everything comes in at once. Yep, there's going to be an avalanche probably in about 3 to 4 months. So if there's a bunch of ASMR streams in like February, you know why. You've been forewarned. It's very likely what's going to happen. All right, so what I'm doing right now is how I sew my pieces together as much as possible is I chain piece them together, which means that you're putting one piece in after another. Just so like this one and this one sequentially. Not sequentially, but just, yeah, all at once. And that helps with reducing thread waste. It also helps reduce time actually as well, because you're not pulling out and trimming the threads every single time you finish a piece. It's a quilting hack that I picked up, quilting tip, quilting hack, whatever you want to call it, for one of the magazines that I picked up when I first kind of got interested in any kind of fabric work and quilting and all of that. So that's what we're doing right now. So what I have to do though is after I've done that chain piecing, I have to go in and I have to trim them all apart. So that's what we're just working on right now. Because if you're like, Katie, I can't see the fabrics. Well, sorry, yeah. This is one of those like, it's not like super boring stages, but it's like one of those necessary evil stages. Like I have to trim them apart. But trust me, I don't even want to be doing this. I want to be seam rolling and top stitching. Okay, and then that was a break in there because I think I ran out of bobbin thread or something like that. So I'm going to set these because they don't have their match yet. They should be right here. Theoretically, they should be right here. Polar bears is definitely right here. So we'll start there. Boom. And then we've got, I think these are the floral wreath cats. It's hard for me even to see what's behind each of these, so yeah, but they're definitely cotton linen blends, so that tells me they're floral wreaths. And then there's the other one here. We've got some budgies on aqua. Budgies on aqua. And then we've got one more cats and floral wreaths. Alrighty, so now we're gonna, like, I don't know if we're gonna need to iron these or not. I'm hopefully going to be able to just go through and do this as a finger press or seam roller thing. But if we need to go in and iron them, because I do remember last time I had to, we'll do it. It's not a big deal. But if I can cheat it, we're going to, because I don't really feel like setting up the ironing board tonight. Although I pretty much can tell right now that no, at least on the cotton linen blends, that's not going to be very, no. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Move everything out of my way. And then, nope, we're not good anymore. Now we're good. Pop that underneath. We're going to turn this up to top stitching length. I'm going to move all these snaps out of the way, because apparently everything is in the machine neck right now. They can go in there. Alrighty, so now we're going to stitch across. And yes, I should actually go in and seam roll all of these so that we can chain piece these as well. But I want to experiment first and see if this was sufficient for top stitching, which, yeah, I'm happy with that. That gave me just as good a line as if I had ironed them. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now you might be like, well, Katie, they're bending up to the top here. Why aren't you just doing it that way? But actually what it does is it does actually change the appearance of the bag significantly. So if I fold it down here, it creates less of a frame. It's very obvious in person. And the other part of this is then I would end up top stitching on the exterior fabric. Whereas if I fold it down here like this, so the canvas, fold everything to the canvas side, it gets framed nicer like this, and it also means that I can top stitch the canvas, meaning that there is no worry about a contrast thread because this is already black. And in the case of gray, it just gets top stitched with black thread as well. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to do a finger press first. Now, if I do run into anything that doesn't have its like interfacing well adhered or whatever, for whatever reason, we can always throw those back under the iron. Is it faster under the iron? Probably, but whatever. Again, I just don't feel like setting it up tonight. I might set it up tomorrow, depending on how far we get through here, but whatever. And I should seam roll everything because it will just be faster to seam roll it all and then throw it under the machine. Okay, so we're going to actually turn the machine off so that I don't accidentally step on the pedal and like sew my fingers underneath that foot, because here's the blunt truth of that as well, is that I am terrified that I am going to do that at some point. It's got a guard and everything like that, but just knowing myself, it's like it is totally possible that that is going to be one of my sewing injuries eventually. Outside of like rotary cutters and steam presses, the steam press did get me pretty bad. A few weeks ago now, it's finally healed. There's still like a little bit of residual scabbing and dry skin, but you know, it like blistered, so it was definitely 2nd-degree burns. So all things considered, it did pretty good pretty fast. Worst part of it was on a knuckle, so it was like stretching all the time. Finally put some Vaseline on it, and that actually helped significantly because it just softened it up, which was the big thing. So, and again, these don't need to be perfect, they just need to be done. It's kind of the motto around here. It doesn't need to be perfect, but done. And obviously we want to be as precise as possible, but these are also all repurposed cuts. So the canvas bottom tote bags came in, last year? Yeah, I think I really focused in on them for Shindig in January. Them and small box bags, whatever. Anyway, so what ended up happening is that I previously did make all of my tote bags with just the full Japanese fabric. I was happy with that because I didn't want to do these couple of extra steps. And then I got a request to make one with a canvas bottom and looked at it and went, oh no. They need to have canvas bottoms, and so here we are. However, I did have a bunch of tote bags cut out before that point. Just in like they weren't shaped or interfaced or anything really. Oh, that's the one that's missing. It's the bunnies. I'm like, there is one. It's the bunnies. Because it needs a gray bottom. That's why I've got an extra set of gray canvas. Okay, we'll get that afterwards. Anyway, I had all these cut out and I was like, I am going to come in and actually cut them down to like be able to add the canvas to the bottom. So here we are. That's what we're doing. After this, I will go in and we're going to grab lining fabric and zippers, which I keep forgetting I need to go in and match as well. But you know, it'll happen eventually. It all has to come together at some point. The other big thing, so these are all going to be getting ready for Fibre Shindig, which is a Calgary, Alberta, Canada fiber festival on October 19th. That's the information down at the bottom there. If you Google Fibre Shindig, I think it's fibreshindig.com or something like that. If you Google them though, it'll give you the information. It's being held at the Genesis Center, and I think the hours are 10 to 4, 9 to 4. Something like that. $5 admission, plenty of free parking because it's a big like rec center as well, and YMCA and all of that. Excuse me. Apparently my voice is like, all right, you need to sound like you've smoked and drank a bottle of whiskey for the past like 20 years. Yeah, so these will be ready for that. And then the other thing we'll be focusing on is reversible drawstring bags. And then after that, we'll be going in and doing all the traveler stuff. So traveler slings, mini traveler slings, and passport holders, which is a new product as well. And then after that, we'll be going in and focusing in on the cross-stitch bags that are also getting repurposed from a previous make. Also crossing my fingers that my kiddos make it past like 11 o'clock tonight, because it's like, I think the last couple nights, like clockwork, it's been like 11, 11:30, and the youngest has been really upset. And I don't know what's up. I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. But I'm just like, what is going on? Because normally they're just like, wake up, crawl into the bed. But the last like 3 or 4 nights, that has not been the case. Even when I've already been upstairs, when they've like woken up to come to bed. So who knows? Developmental stages are weird for kids. They're weird for adults. We just think that they're not, or at least there seems to be this general consensus that adults are finished. And it's like, I don't think we are completely, or as much as like we would like to pretend we are. Especially with that new data coming out. There's a study done recently that apparently we go through like 2 major aging stages, one at 44 and one at 60, which is really interesting. I have not read it, so I just realized, I wonder if that was split evenly between like male and female. Or like, yeah, or if it was what it was. So I'm gonna have to go look at that, because a lot of the aging things probably for women is like menopause or premenopause at 44 at least. Okay. Test results are already coming back from my physical yesterday. Everything's looking clear. Still have to see my doctor about the ECG, or EKG as they called it. Which I'm like, okay. So I'll do that later. Well, not later. I have an appointment on the 16th. So let's see what they say about that. Hopefully it's nothing. Well, okay. She's never called me back about an ECG before. So I'm like, why are you calling me about this ECG? But I also know when I did the test, the tech was like, are you having these symptoms? And I was like, no. Then she she pulled the binder out, and then she asked me if I was having the symptoms. I'm like, no. Or no, she asked before she pulled out the binder. Then she pulled out the binder. Then I made a terrible joke of like, if you ask me now, I'm having the symptoms. She's like, well, it's a good thing I'm not monitoring you right now. I'm like, I think it was low heart rate. I hope that's what it was, because that's the only thing I can see on it. But obviously I am also not trained to read ECGs. That's okay. Obviously it wasn't urgent. They weren't like, you gotta get in, or like, go to ER right now. So I'm like, okay, that's at least something. I could just take the next available appointment, sort of thing. By the way, I have also 100% lost count of how many of these we have. I do know that we prepped about 40. I don't know how many we actually ended up with, because I found a stack of ones that are like, they've gone through this whole stage and already, the bags, they've gone through this stage and they're already top stitched. So I'm like, well, we may as well throw those in. So I've got webbing, and all they need now is a zipper and lining before they get sewn. But I do know the last count was about 40. I think we've added some since then though, and that's okay. I needed a big restock of tote bags, to be honest. And we still have 2 weeks till Shindig, so, you know. We've got lots of time. Lots of time. I'm going to regret saying that probably on Monday. Like, one of the kids will get sick and be home all day or something like that. Knock on wood, that's not how it goes. I really like this fabric. So it's little black cats, and they're like plain in these ribbons. And I absolutely adore this pink background color. Spectacular. It's going to get a really nice red zipper, and I cut black webbing for it, so it like looks like a really snazzy bag once it's finished. I feel like this might be easier with a little bit larger seam roller, but I also don't know if there's any seam rollers that are larger. There's like the brayers like you would use with Cricut or something like that, or like printmaking. Like this movement. But that's all I can think of. I do have a Cricut brayer too, but I don't actually know where it is right now. Surprise! This little guy's from Japan. Also surprise, not really. Where did I get it? I think it was one of the like wholesale shops in Osaka. Maybe Nomura. I just find that a lot of the tools and like notions there that come highly recommended are so much cheaper than trying to get them in Canada. It's gotten better, but like when I was there in 22, that was definitely the case. Even from the places that like, so even Amazon or something like that, like the Soline air erasing pens at that time were like $12 a piece or something like that. And I'm like, ugh. And then I went to Japan and they were like $3 a piece, which for a marking tool that's just going to get like used up, still pretty expensive, but they're so good. And they've been invaluable in doing the wallets actually. And a few other things. What have we been marking? Oh, like the start stop lines for not just top stitching, but putting the zippers into the box bags actually is the big one that I use them for. Whew. Okay. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Get it done, get it done, get it done. I don't have our ventilation fan or anything going right now, and the house is remarkably quiet, and it's kind of spooky, scary, not scary, eerie. I'm trying to banish spooky from my lexicon, but there's not like a lot of good substitutions. I need to whip out thesaurus.com or something like that. Figure it out. Anyway, there's usually a like drone of white noise in the background, and it's not there anymore, and it's very nice. and very odd at the same time. So now all these bags are machine washable, cool water. And then you do need to air dry them because this is fusible interfacing. And if you put this interfacing in the dryer, the interfacing will lose very rapidly. The other part of that is that if you air dry these bags, any of my bags, you can pop out the corners and it's just going to help the bag maintain its shape better for longer. The exceptions to the machine wash rule is anything with leather. So the mini traveler slings, or leather or obi actually are the two main ones where you have to be careful. The Kato with the leather tag at the bottom, and then the mini traveler sling with the leather tag and the leather tab that folds over on the top for the foam pocket, and then also the traveler slings because they're both obi and the other thing, leather tabs. Now you can wash leather, you can get it wet, but what I've started suggesting is like just make sure you condition it, especially on the Kato with the leather handle, because it's like so integral to the bag. You don't want it to be like drying out and wearing out fast. So tips of the night, I guess. I don't even know. What was I just talking about? Oh. I was talking about how I was in the doldrums. I think I definitely have not turned the corner on the doldrums yet. However, I am feeling better now that I'm like back down actually sewing. The kid has had some TV daycare today, and I got some sewing done, and the shift in my mood was significant, which is insane. And knitting hasn't even been doing it for me recently, so it's like, oh dear. Although I have been knitting a lot, I'm working, so I finished up the youngest's flax sweater hack, which is basically a hack of, I used the flax sweater body, flax being a knitting pattern from Tin Can Knits, and then did I did a flax with little sock arms, so like the self-striping sock arms. And then for the eldest right now, I'm working on a little sock arms, but the arms aren't going to be self-striping, they're just going to be they're going to be a variegated, which is going to look really cute too. So I am getting some knitting done. I need to finish up our Christmas stockings. That's what I need to be doing, rather than leaving them to December 1st and be like, oh, I'm not going to get them finished this year. Okay. Yeah, I should avoid that. And I know exactly where the next, like the stocking that I'm supposed to be working on is. It's up there. I even have the yarn wound, I think, mostly. Although now that I say that, I wonder where the rest of it is, because I don't think that's enough to finish that stocking. Damn it. Actually, I think it's up in my nightstand drawer, because my nightstand 100% is filled with yarn. And embroidery, crafts, and a crochet mermaid tail I haven't finished yet. Just thinking about how much yarn is in there. Yep, the nighttime activities: knitting, crochet, embroidery. I should have put an odd light bulb in my bedside lamp. I know, this is so boring. Sorry. I actually didn't think that I thought they were going to just be sewing canvas on tonight. Now, is this awesome? Like that I'm ahead of where I thought I was going to be? Yes, 100%. But But I also don't expect it to last very long. I'm going to meet a friend for a run tomorrow, which is going to be good. We kept talking about it all summer, and it was just like one of those situations where it just never worked out for either of us. So I'm like, let's take advantage of this nice weather for the next few weeks. Let's do a run together. It's like a 30-minute run. It's not going to even take that long. Because right now I'm doing all time-based instead of distance-based, and that'll be the case until I start marathon running as well, training. The one thing I am seeing is it looks like Kyoto Marathon is actually went to lottery this year, which I'm like, oh no. Because previously it has been first come, first serve. So I'm really hoping for 26 it either becomes first come, first serve again, or I get lucky and I get off the lottery. Or they, like, multiple factors. There may not be as many applicants, blah, 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 blah. Or they, like, widen the participant field or something. I don't know. Hey. Machine just static electricity me. Boo. Okay. Got that one left. Oh, I'm not even going to count. There's quite a stack down there still. This one's a really nice one as well. So it's like little black cats amongst, like, I always count these as like roses, peonies, and something like that. And then there's gold shimmer florals. So this flower down here that you can see in the purple is actually a gold shimmery flower. Sorry. Ugh. It's only 11 o'clock. No. Oh. My night owl powers are like diminishing. I don't like it. So yeah, she was like my like sleep rhythms were always, I was happiest when I could do like midnight to 9. Did I stick to that regularly? No. But now it's like I have to be up to get the kids to preschool and everything like that. And I am not having fun. At least with the wake up. We went down and we did, well, okay, speaking of fun, yeah, went for a walk down to the river and we're throwing a bunch of rocks in the river and stuff like that. And then they are playing a game right now of like, does it sink or float? So they were doing like a bunch of tosses in to see what sunk or float. Of course, all the rocks sunk. But there's some like dried out sticks and stuff like that that were really good. Experimental pieces. So that was good. It was really nice outside this afternoon. We did not go in the morning, even though that's kind of what I intended, because it was cold again, like single digits. Definitely got frosted. The sunflowers are still hanging on though, which I'm super impressed with because I thought for sure that the frost was, well, they were not looking happy this morning. And so I don't know how much longer they're going to be around, but they're hanging in there right now. I'm like, okay. Hardy. I'll just make sure that I plant them earlier next year so that they're blooming earlier next year as well. Because honestly, sunflowers shouldn't be blooming into October probably. But I am impressed with, given the fact that I just chaos seeded them as well and basically threw the seeds into the bed like, here, good luck. We'll see you in a few months. Maybe. Alright, we are nearing the end of the pile, thankfully. I am tired of rolling seams and I want a top stitch. Oh, same as any craft, is the prep work is worth it and also takes the most amount of time. So if you're just joining, excuse me, I've attached the canvas to the Japanese fabric for tote bags, and now we're going in and seam rolling this seam to the canvas side so that we can go in and top stitch it afterwards. And that's what these are here, was an experiment to see if I need to pull the iron out or if we could just seam roll it. And so far so good. Well, okay. For the first one, we were able to just seam roll it. I'm really hoping that the fact that I just committed to it, we're good. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think we'll be fine. It's mostly just making sure that it's like mostly laid down to this side. And then we can deal with it when it actually gets onto the table. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make sure that we're gonna make sure that we clip in all the zipper tape that we have to do here for these ones, for sure. I thought I was done with supply orders, except for maybe some D-rings, which I do still need to order. But I was looking at my zipper pull stash, and I'm like, oh, we need to get some zipper pulls as well. Shoot. I don't know why I ordered so few. I think I ordered like 100 for 200 meters of zipper, which I guess is about... No, it's not right. I should have ordered at least double that. Never mind. So, but I guess I can put an order in them for all 4 colors that I have right now. Plus a few maybe. And then yeah, we'll be going through and doing a reassessment of zipper colors here as well. Actually, I wonder if we need to do that or if it's more just a thing of like keep. Well, no, because I like the bigger pulls that I'm able to get with the zipper tape versus the thinner pulls with the pre-made zippers. The zipper tape is an absolute nightmare to deal with in the studio. I still don't know how to store it exactly. I do think I found cord reels the other day that would work or should work. But yes, at the same time, I kind of miss my pre-made zippers. I'm like, damn it. But there's so many like pluses to them at the same time. I'm like, no, less waste is like one of the big factors in it that I really like about the zipper tape. Being able to pick whatever zipper pull I want is another really big, like a thumbs up for them. And I think they still work out cheaper. And it's not like adding the zipper pull actually takes that much time with the zipper jig, but sometimes it's just nice to slap a zipper into a project and not have to worry about it. Excuse me, sorry. Excited to finally see some of these fabrics come to life in these bags, since they have been like earmarked to become tote bags for so long. Well, a couple of years probably. I think I went on a big tote bag cutting spree in 22, and then they never got sewn. Surprise! But yeah, I am excited to see them come together. Yeah, because adding the canvas would have been started last year. So. It's fairly quiet for Saturday night. I'm kind of surprised that there's not more traffic on the road behind us. Normally there's more like trucks and stuff. Although I guess maybe the like bar crew isn't coming home quite yet. I have no clue. I don't know what the nightlife scene is like in Cochrane. Oh, there we go. Probably would work better if I actually was standing, but whatever. Well, it's standing at my sewing desk because that would not work. My shoulder is finally feeling better. It's probably not strengthened up to the point that it needs to be, but I do think we're past the point of needing physio for it. It's just going to be like long-term muscle gain and mobility, basically, I guess. Stretches and stuff like that. Being aware of like posture while I'm actually sewing. All of that. Although I do have one more session with him, which I think is still a good idea because it's like, okay, just kick that last little bit of crankiness out of the shoulder, right? And it's covered under Dallas's benefits, so I may as well take advantage of it. I just want to, like, if I'm marathon training, our benefits don't reset till July 1st. So it's like, if I'm marathon training, I kind of want to keep most of my physio allowance for later in that cycle in case I need it. All right, down to the last few. So that actually did go faster than I anticipated. What time is it? It's just barely after 11. So if the machine doesn't fight me too hard and I don't make any stupid mistakes, I think we'll sit down and do the top stitching. I don't know how long that's going to take, so we'll see. I'm thinking like wrap up around 11:30 because that's not too late. I can go upstairs and have like a wind down without the kids and like without work, and then bed. Oh yeah, we're down to like 2.5. So 5 more to roll out seams on. Then we can move on to the top stitching. Woohoo! Oh, water bottle holders. That's the other thing I was going to focus on for Heritage Parks Market. All right, last 2 pieces to roll out the seam on. And the final one, for now at least, I'm not going to worry about that bunny one until tomorrow probably. Or Monday, who knows? I don't know if we're going to be downstairs tomorrow or not, so. All right, let's get this going. Top stitching, top stitching, top stitching. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Oh, right. Turning the machine back on might be useful. You know. Actually being able to sew on the machine. Kind of key to this whole endeavor. I did actually have a moment earlier today where it was like the control box was not letting me sew it. I was like, no! This control box better not give out on me right now. So now theoretically, this is completely an aesthetics theme. However, the benefits to it being that it helps hold the seam down at the bottom of the bag, and it does actually increase the strength of this, like sewing the canvas to the exterior fabric as well. At least in my head, that's part of what it does. Mainly it's aesthetics and holding the seam allowance down where I want it to stay. Could do like sewing it into the side seams obviously as well, pointing down. Do it probably, but then it's also not flipping up in the middle of the like sequence here as either. So one moment, I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit here so you can see a little bit more of this back area, since that's where you're actually going to be seeing the fabrics more than any other place. All right, there we go. Okay, so some of these, the seam rolling so far has worked better, and on some of these, it's gonna fight, and that's fine. It's fabric, it has a mind of its own, and we love it anyway. All right. Oh, I'm so excited about some of these bags. Gonna be a very cheery display of tote bags for Shindig, which is always exciting. I really like this one. It's the housekeeping cat. Housekeeping. To live slowly. Cleaning is fun. I beg to disagree, cat. Is cleaning useful? Yes. Fun? No. I don't know why I had that chair pushed like so far away instead of having it like right here beside me. But you know, now it is. This is little Frenchies with like dapper Frenchies is what I call them. She takes a walk with her dog. One is like sleepy. One is like bone. Hello. Anyway, it's super cute. And I think actually the last of this fabric. No, I broke my bobbin thread. Damn it. I heard it happen too. Okay. So this is one of the perils of like chain piecing is sometimes the bobbin does fight back. Mostly when it's like I'm too far in between pieces for it to like catch, and it just, so it breaks. Whatever, not a big deal. There we go. Reset and off we go. I swear though, these feed dogs really don't like this interfacing or this canvas. And it really doesn't like when I make it do the two. I guess I could like, maybe we'll do, once I get through this one, all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the stitch length up, and that might help with just like making the machine less cranky. It's not like cranky about the weight or anything. I swear it is just the feed dogs. This machine can like bulldoze through so much. But yeah, the feed dog's causing an issue would make sense. So I'll turn the top stitch up a couple ticks. Again, it's like, it isn't really it's an aesthetic seam top stitch. It's not a, structural top stitch. So it being at a little bit longer length isn't going to make a big difference. And yeah, that does actually make a difference. Excellent. So that's good. Okay. Doesn't drag quite as much on the feed dogs, which means that the feed dogs aren't going to damage the interfacing as much or at all. Shouldn't be in the like shorter lengths either, but you know, it's still basically little grippy teeth down here pulling the fabric through. So. Oh, never mind. Ugh. Gross. Sounds gonna be really cranky too, apparently. Nope, come on. And yes, I am backstitching this as I like go through. A, you're not gonna see it because the backstitch of like 2 to 3 stitches is going to be hidden in the side seams. So why not? Lock it right in good and hard. Alright, so I think we're at the point where I'll be able to get all the top stitching of the canvas bottom's done here. It's 11:15. As long as the kiddos don't wake up or something, we should be good. This one with this like wisteria on this navy is so good. It's like so good. Because the purple of the, like, I guess it's kind of like viewing wisteria at night. That's kind of the vibe it's giving, and the purple and the pink just pop on this like dark navy background so well. It's insane. And I think, yeah, you can see that on camera as well. At least from my side, you can see it. Like particularly in person with the highlighting with the gold and everything like that as well. Chef's kiss, just so good. Little like royal or crowned cats. Used to call them prince cats, and then I'm like, wait, what if they're not boys? So I swapped the name to crowned or royal. I think I'm gonna go with royal cats because that just strikes the mood of it so much better, but you know. And then the capybara, Professor Capybara. The one on the other side of this bag actually has glasses. There are glasses scattered throughout the print as well, but the capybara is actually wearing glasses, which is very important. This one definitely came from Osaka. I still remember buying it. And here it is. The last of it going through the sewing machine. It's like raising kids. It's like some sort of like odd, bittersweet nostalgia. He's a very different person 6 years ago. Not even, but no, more than 6, 8, 7. 7 years ago is the in-between trip. Don't worry, there are a lot more tote bags to come. All of those fabrics that I cut earlier this year that have been sewn up into small box bags and large box bags at this point are also cut for tote bags and kato bags, and they will be coming eventually. I don't think I'm going to need to be doing much cutting. For next year. Oh, I ran out just before the back stitching here. Anyway, yeah, I don't think we're going to need to be doing much cutting for next year, except for like small and large box bags again. And even then, I don't think even that many. So, well, I do want to work through the fabric stash. So we'll probably end up cutting quite a bit. I want to cut more gyoza bags that are like just to be gyoza bags. Obviously want to do a lot more mini traveler slings. I'm kind of lining up my shows right now, but I gotta also take a look at what I want to achieve for my stock and like what we're going to do. I also need to get some of the mini traveler slings into Market Spot. And I think passport holders would be a really good one for that as well. So I guess that'll be some of the other goals this year. And I think go in and basically rotate the stock in there more often as well, which I think will help significantly with sales too. And now that we are getting all these tote bags done, some of them can go in for sure as well. Well, I guess as long as they don't sell at Shindig. Okay. Next bobbin is winding. A lot of these are actually really dark bags. Now that I'm looking at them, like a lot of these are going to end up with black top stitching. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to need to even switch. I think we'll wait to switch the thread color until after we've installed the majority of zippers. Or at least maybe we'll do... No, we're going to install the zippers in everything. It's like we'll install the zippers in the darker bags and then we'll top stitch them, which actually could work still. I think that's what we'll do. Although one thing I will do is I'll make sure that they all get like matched with their zippers and everything, so that once the process for the dark bags is done, we can just go in and do the zippers for the white or the lighter colored bags as well. Although I am like, yeah, I seriously am not seeing that many that are going to need white top stitching. The Fuji, definitely. There's a Sakura bag over there that'll need white top stitching. Like there's a few for sure, but not very many. Which is actually good because that was like not a conscious choice, but a little bit darker tones for the winter is kind of nice sometimes too. Obviously not all of them, but contrast is good compared to my like bright and cheery ones that I normally gravitate towards. Actually, the big one I want to finish is those kimono kato that I've had teasing everyone, including myself, for the past, what, like 3 months? I think we took it in the right direction with the Traveler Sling before Omatsuri. But yeah, I think getting some obi kato done would be good too, obviously. Okay, so the seam rolling definitely worked on some better than others. These ones, not so much. Which is wild, because it's a thinner upper fabric. So you'd think that the canvas would be able to kind of like exert its dominance. Oh well, whatever. Still working. Oh boy, there's a lot left. Okay. So now another common thing that does happen as well for chain piecing is enders and leaders. So you can kind of start and end a chain of stuff, or if you're just working on like one piece at a time, you can do an ender and leader. Basically it starts and stops on the similar like fabric, weight, and texture, I think. Mostly weight, so that's like kind of set up and ready to go straight onto whatever you're stitching. More crowned cats. We definitely have a lot of duplicates in this round, mostly because I want to get them made. Some of them are like a good chunk of these. They're obviously they had been cut so that I could make a tote bag. So there's two sides of them. I think 95% of them ended up going like the second side or the back cut, whatever you want to call it, ended up being able to go in and are going to become gyoza bags. But not all of them did, because I was like, either the print just wasn't oriented right for a gyoza bag or was too large. There's like multiple factors in deciding if they're going to become gyoza bags or not. And some of them I just went, all right, we're just going to do a second tote bag because they're pretty or they're cute or whatever. And sometimes I don't always know what's going to be popular. And so it's good to have duplicates of some things. I don't do it normally in a rush up to like run up to like Knit City, because typically I like having as much variety as possible. Unless it's like a fabric like Sushi Neko, where I'm like pretty positive that's going to be fairly popular. That sort of thing. So. Yeah, if you're kind of like Katie, there's so many duplicates, and you always talk about no duplicates. And that's why we have duplicates this time. It does make fun photographing though, because it's like if there's a duplicate, I don't have to like take photos of both the bags typically. Sometimes it depends. Like this one will end up being needing 2 photos taken, depending if both end up on the website or not, because they'll end up with different handle colors, and that's fine. My machine being cranky. I thought I heard a kiddo again. Yep. Wait. No. Good. Last of the polar bear makes penguin pancakes in the bright colorway. Don't worry, I do have new fabric of them on New Adventures, but this is the last of this one if you've had your eye on it for the past like few years. I really like the color scheme of that one, especially the pops of like pink and green. It 100% reminds me of like the old Archie comics and stuff like that. We're just about there. Once I'm done top stitching, I'm going to bed. Or at least I'm heading upstairs. Although honestly, I was going to call it at 11:30, and we're not even going to be that far past 11:30. So that's pretty awesome, to be honest. excited about that. It looks like 2 more bags, 4 more top stitchings, and then we're good. Come on. There we go. All right, last one, and then we're done the top stitching, at least for tonight. I'm turning this back to construction length while I'm thinking about it, and we're just gonna leave that there. We're all done. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, evening, night, morning, whatever, whenever you are, and I'll chat with you all hopefully again tomorrow night. All signs point to yes, I will be back tomorrow night. So have a fantastic time, and I'll chat with you all soon. Bye.